Hey guys, what's happening? It's Richard here. How you all doing? As you can tell, I am currently outside in this winter wonderland that is my backyard. I mean, there's really no particular reason why I'm out here filming. It just looks fantastic. I mean, it seriously just is mind-blowingly beautiful. I've always found snow just incredibly good looking. Like, it's always so aesthetically pleasing, and I've always wanted to have, like, if I could get away with it, I'd have all of my movies I make later on in life all set in the winter. I just wanted to make an intro to this episode of Comics out here, outside in the weather. Yeah, anyways, let's hit the theme song right now.
Greetings, friends! See, it's funny because my last name is Friend. Some name humor for you there. Anyway, welcome to the big, huge comics end of the year award show spectacular extravaganza.
Yes, it is time once again for Carter and I to look back at the best of 2012 and give out some awards to the particular comics that mean the most to us.
Clearly, this is one of the biggest episodes of the year as we look all the way back till January until now at the best of the best 2012 had to offer in terms of comics.
But if you haven't seen a Comics Awards, here's the gist of it. This is how it works here on Comics. First off, Carter and I, we get together and we decide to just to figure out what categories we want to use. Most of the time, the categories are the same as the year before, but sometimes they change a little bit. And this year we have 10 categories, and they are Best Limited Series, Best Comic Book Story Arc, Best New Comic Series, Best Comic Book Movie, Best Graphic Novel, Best Single Issue, Best Artist, Best Writer, and Best Comic Series.
Richard and I will be splitting it up, each giving out some of the different awards, and then there are a few that we split our awards on, and we'll be giving them to two people, or two stories, or whatever the award is. So just deal with that. Sometimes we disagree. We're only human.
However, we have a twist this year. We have a bit of a little change up, something kind of fun, something kind of cool. There's this comic book YouTuber introduced to me by this fine gentleman right here. Go subscribe to him. Do it now. And instead of me just introducing to her and telling you about her, this is her doing it herself.
Hey guys, I'm Comic Uno, and I do reviews on my channel, Hayden Claire Heroes Comic Uno, for comic books and TV. I also work for another YouTube channel called Dark Avenger Inc., where it's a group of reviewers reviewing stuff and talk about comics. Also work for another website called BKBN, Big Kids Big News, and I just post my reviews there, and it's a fun website where you could be a member of, and we get great news from there, toys, movies, TV shows, comics, so you should go check that out. Also, I work for a website called Entertainment Views, where I'm a writer, where I can do written reviews on comic books, and also video reviews I post there, and written articles for, like, telling my opinion on my favorite comic books, or, you know, just an opinion on something. And also, I'm the editor of Comic Book Frontline, which is a blogger. If you think that's enough on my Twitter, I usually have, if I have more stuff that I think you guys should know about, I usually post that and tell what collab videos I'm doing and just all the videos I'm doing, so that way you guys could get all my stuff in one place. So follow me on Twitter and, you know, see all my other stuff that I do.
Thank you, Comic Uno. It's awesome to have you aboard. So this means with the inclusion of her, each category will have like 2 or 3 answers. So, without further ado, let's get this show on the road. So I'm going to start off with Best Limited Series. I knew exactly what I wanted to pick for Best Limited Series, and what I picked was Punk Rock Jesus by Sean Murphy. What an amazing comic book story. It's so fantastic. If you haven't read Punk Rock Jesus, it's essentially Sean Murphy's version, if you will, of the Second Coming of Jesus Christ. It's just an amazing limited series, and if you haven't read it, I highly, highly recommend it.
Best limited series, and for me, this was easy also. I'm picking Spider-Man. That was Spider-Man, which a lot of people are like, what, Spider-Man? They didn't have a miniseries. Like, Spider-Man was the ultimate comic books and regular universe coming together. So I think that whole miniseries was fun. You know, it wasn't that you needed to read it, but it was very fun.
Best comic book arc. This is the best story arc that Richard and I thought was the best one out of any comic book series in the entire year. The Court of Owls. No huge shocker there. We've mentioned many times on the show how much we really adored Scott Snyder's Court of Owls storyline. It's one of the most innovative and fun and exciting and surprising story arcs Batman's ever had, and certainly the best one of the year.
Best comic book arc. And this arc that I'm picking actually didn't end yet, and it'll be going into 2013. And that's Death of the Family. That's the Joker story arc. I think it's a brilliant, especially what Scott Snyder is doing with Batman, with the Death of the Family, and all the other tie-ins are great also. Even though it's going into 2013, I'm going to say Death of the Family is definitely my favorite comic book arc from 2012.
Best new comic series. This one, again, easy. It's easy to pick what would be the best new comic series that I've read this year. It was Saga. So far, that series has reached issue 8, I believe, and it has yet to suck. In fact, it just gets better.
Now, best new series. When people ask me what was your favorite series of 2012 that came out in 2012, Hawkeye. I think, again, Matt Fraction's doing such a great job with that series. And if you're not reading this is an under-radar series that you should be reading. I know it's not part of Marvel now, but it is one of my favorites, and I actually have a poster in the background for that.
The next one's a big one. You might know what we're going to give it to. Best comic book movie. Clearly, there are only a few real contenders here. After some long and hard debates, we finally narrowed it down to one. It's probably the one you're expecting. It's the one that most people are putting on their list as the #1 comic book movie of the year, maybe of all time. The Dark Knight Returns Part 1. Ah-ha-ha! You probably thought I was going to say The Dark Knight Rises or The Avengers, huh? You are wrong. Because Richard and I couldn't agree on which one was better. So, instead, we went with what we consider to be the most underrated comic book movie of the year. It is one of the best movies that DC has put out in their animated line, which is saying something because that's a fantastic line, rarely any misses.
The next category is Best Comic Book Movie. I think for everybody, it's either going to be Avengers or Dark Knight, and I picked Dark Knight Rises. Christopher Nolan did a great job with the whole trilogy, so I really enjoyed the action, the villains, and just everything about it.
Best graphic novel. Like the other categories, this one was a no-brainer for me. Underwater Welder by Jeff Lemire. Oh my god, what a freaking amazing graphic novel. Oh, holy pizza nipples. I don't know where that came from. I'm never saying that ever again. There's a lot of things. I should start writing these down. Things I will never say again.
Best graphic novel, which for me, I didn't read a lot of graphic novels this year. Superman Earth 1 Volume 2. I picked that up the week it came out, and I really enjoyed the first Superman Earth 1 Volume 1. And I think Volume 2 was a good sequel. It wasn't better. So I enjoyed Volume 2. So that is my best graphic novel of 2012.
Best single issue. So, best single issue for Carter and I came between 3 issues from Batman, essentially. But I said to myself, you know what really deserves it? Probably issue 12, because it just is an amazing comic. The story is not something you usually see in Batman, and plus the art by Becky Cloonan is breathtakingly beautiful.
Best single issue, and for this you guys are gonna probably disagree with me, but I'm gonna pick Amazing Spider-Man issue 698. That comic so many people were waiting for, and it surprised us. So I think with 698, I think that was an important issue in 2012 that we were all looking forward to. And again, some people hated it, some people liked it, and I really liked it.
Best comic book artist. Richard and I split this one. We each wanted to give out some love to different people. I'm giving it to Ed McGuinness again. Sorry, I know I've given it to him the past 2 years, but he's just my favorite artist, and technically X-Sanction did come out this year. At least, like, half of that series.
So I initially had one other artist in this category listed as my pick. I said to myself, Richard, you should give it to somebody else. They're a lot more deserving of it. No offense to the other artists, because they're amazing, but still. And so I've decided to give the award instead to Sean Murphy. You know, his work that he did this year, particularly with Punk Rock Jesus, was so mind-blowing. That book is beautiful to boot. It is amazing. I love it.
Next category is Best Artist, and I picked someone that I probably would pick every year, and that's Francis Manapul. I think he does a great job. Last year he worked on The Flash, the last volume of Flash before New 52, and this year he's working on The Flash also, but also writing The Flash, which is making the series even better.
Next category, Best Writer. Kind of like with Carter on Ed McGuinness, I will more likely pick one person for this particular category if they keep making books, because I will always love it. And that particular writer is obviously Scott Snyder. Scott Snyder is my ultimate favo writer ever. I don't even know why I said favo, but there you go.
Best Writer. This is another one that we split because while I technically think I agree with Richard's choice, I wanted to spread the love. I wanted to recognize the writer who we have not really talked about that much on the show, who I think has done an outstanding job all year, and that is Mr. Mark Waid. He salvaged my favorite comic book character from one of the worst storylines ever. I've mentioned it many times. I hated The Incredible Hulk. That was just an awful, awful book. But anyway, The Indestructible Hulk is already off to an amazing start. Check out this series if you have not, as well as all the other series he has written this year, and he just has a pantheon of great works attributed to his name, so I just felt like this would be a good time to recognize him, because we never really talk about him on the show.
Best Writer, and the person I picked actually is not Dan Slott, but is another writer who I think towards the end of this year did a lot of great comic books, is Matt Fraction. I like a lot of his series that came out towards the end of the year.
And finally, the award of awards. Best Comic Series. We picked Batman again. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's repetitive. I believe we picked it last year. I'm 100% sure. But if it doesn't stop rocking, we will not stop giving it the Best Comic Award. I'm sorry. It's just that amazing.
Favorite comic book series, and I picked The Amazing Spider-Man. I think The Amazing Spider-Man had such a great year this year for issue 700 and issue 698. I think Dan Slott definitely kept us on the edge of our seats and didn't disappoint.
Anyways, that's it. That is the Comics 2012 award show. Couple of things I want to mention before you go. First off, in the comment section below, I wanted to ask, what is your most anticipated comic series of 2013? For me, it's Man of Steel by Scott Snyder and Jim Lee for sure. Also, I'm incredibly excited for Gerard Way, Sean Simon, and Becky Cloonan's new Dark Horse book, True Lies of the Fabulous Killjoys. Also, big thanks to Comic Uno. You are the queen of comics. You are the best. I love you, girl. And as always, don't forget to like this video, follow Carter and I on Facebook, Twitter, and DirectorsCutRadio.com. Links are all down below. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Favorite the video if you want to. And I'll see you guys next time with a brand new video.